Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Trucker Talk. I am Todd, and I am here with you once again, catching up as quick as I can. Kind of got a late start on putting all this together. Had internet issues all day going across Kansas, and I'm now in Colorado. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Hopefully, the notifications went out. Um, I'm going to assume that most of you did not see the video I did. I had hoped it would be out around 3 o'clock, and just as always, technical Tuesday stuff happening. But we'll still talk about it. I'll tell you what happened. I'll post the link throughout in the comments throughout the video, so that if you guys want to check it out, either during the show or after the show, and come back and comment on it, you'll be able to do that. Let's start like always by saying hi to a few people, and then we'll jump right into it. My good friend Asphalt Jungle is here. Thank you for coming in. I did say hi to him in the text, but we'll do it once again. And then Josh McLean is here. Glad you could make it. Thank you for being here. Red Raider Reloading is here tonight. Man, you're in here early. It's good to see you again. Hello to you as well. My good friend Tim Back is here, headed to get the rental car. We'll catch up later or watch the replay. Have a nice show. Thanks, my friend. Good luck with the rental car and with your adventures this week. I hope it all works out for you. Russell Freight Services, LLC. Hey, Trucker Todd, haven't caught a live lately. Been working the night shift. Very busy lately. Yeah, I know the feeling. I spent 8 days at the house working on the truck, and I missed a few videos because of that, and got behind on everything. And so I'm with you. I'm playing catch up this week. The notifications are going to go out late today, so we may have some stragglers that come in a few minutes. That's why I'm just kind of waiting before we jump into it. Give everybody a chance to get in here. Normally I start putting the video together about 4 o'clock, and that gives time for the notifications to go out. Today it was a little after 4:30 when I got it done. So some people are just now receiving the notifications, and I think this will probably be one of those videos that a lot of you watch on the replay. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and post the link for my other video in the comments section, so that you guys that are watching it on the replay can go back and check it out and know what I'm talking about tonight. Good friend Ted is here. Hey, Ted, thanks for being here. Howdy, Abandon. Thank you for coming in. So let me do some cleaning up down here. All right, I got what I needed to get done here. I love the Kenworth now that I've got all the little bugs ironed out of it, and it's a good truck. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm not loving the freight situation. I really need to go to the home location of this company. They've got a newer trailer for me, and right now, man, freight going to where that is really scarce, and what is there is low paying. I mean, $1.20, $1.30. So as a last resort, I'll take something to get down there to it, but I'm hoping I can find something good. Right now I'm in Colorado, and then I'm going to Wyoming, and truck's running great. It's friggin' hot everywhere I go. And so that's kind of what's going on here. Let me say hello to a few more people. Mine just hit 500K. Yeah, I got all the old parts off and all the new parts. It's smooth sailing. Well, good deal. So yours is about the same mileage as mine then. Hey, look who's here. Shannon Thomas is here. I want to see some. Yeah. Shannon, I made you a moderator too. I didn't know if you noticed that or not. Oh yeah, so Shannon's also in Denver. I'm right outside of Denver at the Loves, but when I leave or when I finish this video, I'm gonna go over and park by where I'm delivering in the morning. They got a ton of truck parking over there, and that way I don't have to fight Denver traffic or nothing like that in the morning. Good evening, Shane Lee. Thank you for being here. No problem, Shannon. Wouldn't it be weird if we ended up delivering at the same place tomorrow? That would be since since Shannon and I parted ways at Dart, we've always ended up on opposite sides of the country. Gary Cook is in New Jersey tonight. Man, I uh, I would like to go to that side of the country, maybe not that far. I would like to be in the Midwest. I'd like to be in the Southeast. There's parts of New Jersey that are okay, parts of Pennsylvania that's okay. I just don't find myself running up there a lot. You get good rates, but it seems like you give it all away and higher fuel prices and tolls and things like that. But I do go up there sometimes. Getting loaded since noon detention. Oh yeah, there you go. Get it how you can get it. I remember when I was at Dart, people would say, "Ah, Todd, it's only $50. It's only $150. I'm not going to worry about detention. It's a hassle." And I used to tell them, "Hey, if you found that money on the ground, would you pick it up?" Well, yeah. And I'm like, "That's what detention is. It's money on the ground. Take it. Is it as much as you make driving? No, but it's still money that you're entitled to that you're just given to them if you don't request it and pursue it. Write your in and out times on your bills and try your best to get it." Shane Lee says he just put a deposit on a truck, going to check the truck out tomorrow at Arrow Truck Sales in Philly. Well, good deal. What kind of truck are you looking at? Daryl's in Denver. It's fixing to pile up. Yep, that's but these videos usually run 2.5 hours. So hopefully by the time we get done, traffic will die down. Shannon's got a 4-stopper, 2 in Glenwood Springs, 1 in Aspen, 1 in Montrose. Wow. There was a time in my life when I was really picky and I didn't like doing multi-stop loads. That time has passed. Now in this market, if you want something decent paying, um, seems like you have to do some multi-stop loads, and good on you for being willing to do that. I still don't want to unload trailers. I um, passed on a load the other day that I would have had to unload a trailer, but if the economy gets any worse, I may look at that too. I'm going to put that. I'm going to put that link down there again, and then I'll kind of tell you what the video is about, and I hope you guys will go check it out if my computer will cooperate. Okay, I just put it in the comments. So there's this bonehead. Let's call him what he is. Works for Western Express. 23 years old. Uh, decides to blow a scale and run from the cops. Originally, they were going to stop him. I guess they didn't realize he had blown the scales for a missing mudflap. It results in a chase, and about where was it? I think it was in Columbus. It's 40 miles south of Columbus. They used the tire spikes and get him stopped. At that point, he realizes the peanut butter's hit the fan, and he decides to comply with police, gets out of the truck, gets on his knees, raises his hands, is complying with all their orders. There's a highway patrolman yelling, "Do not release the dog," while he's got his hands up. Yells it at least 3 times in the video. And the local city cop releases the dog. The dog pretty badly bites the guy. He's dragging the guy at one point. And So it brings up a lot of things. First of all, we've got a bonehead running from the cops, and we don't know why. Has he got? And the cop don't know why. Has he got something in the vehicle? Is he just nervous because he's a new driver, or what? But then we've got what I'd call an overzealous cop that maybe his adrenaline was pumping from the chase. Um, but your mind always goes to a darker place, and I know some people in the comments of the article I read were saying racism. My mind doesn't go to that dark of a place, but my mind wonders if maybe he's just a guy that doesn't like truck drivers for whatever reason. I've got some relatives that way that, when you say truck driver, they've got a negative connotation of what a truck driver is. And, maybe that had something to do with it. I don't want to second guess anybody or nothing like that. This is going to be a mess. First of all the crazy things that driver did, even Western Express, who's known as kind of a second chance company, is probably going to cut him loose. He's probably looking at some criminal charges, but so is that officer. That officer's probably looking at some charges, bare minimum losing his job. And I bet the city is probably looking at a lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer. Let me throw that out there for you guys. But I doubt the state is, because the highway patrol is telling him very loud, very clearly, do not release the dog. He's got his hands up. Do not release the dog. So I think the highway patrolman probably saved the state, but definitely that city cop is probably in some trouble, in my opinion. So after you guys see that video I did, I've got the body cam footage from one of the cops, and I'll read the article and tell you where you can check out the article and all that. I'll be curious what your comments are and what your thoughts are. Again, I don't think anybody's in the right or anybody's in the wrong here. I think a lot of mistakes were made, and when drivers do things like this, it gives truck drivers a bad name. Same like we've talked about it in other videos, when you leave your pee jugs everywhere or your poop bags, and or you're foul mouthed out in public. I mean, they go, oh, there's another dirty truck driver. Or when you have poor hygiene, these kind of things weigh bad on truck drivers. But these kind of instances where a police officer has to make a split second decision, and and they make the wrong decision, it looks bad on them too. And I remember when they first started calling truck drivers professionals, they said, oh, we got to hold you to a higher standard now because you're a professional. Well, I would argue that a police officer is also a professional, and they should be held to a higher standard. And so while the dog shouldn't get in trouble, because the dog, normally if it was an individual and they released their dog on somebody, you'd put the dog down. I don't think you do this in this case because the dog is doing what it's trained to do. But I think that the officer probably loses his job, and you probably should prosecute him at a higher level than what you would a normal individual, because same logic you use on truck drivers, as a professional, he should have known better. But I know some of you have already started privately emailing me and texting me. There just came one through that I'll check out after the show. And so I'm really curious what you guys think about this. All in all, it's a really bad situation. And you guys know I don't get political a lot on here. And, but this story was one I thought we needed to take a look at for a lot of reasons. I don't understand why, when I was in school, when I took defensive or driver's ed, I took defensive driving too. But when I took driver's ed, um, they taught us, when you get pulled over, put your hands at 10 and 2, comply with what the officer asks you to do. And, either you get a ticket or you get a warning. But guys are getting out of their car and running and, cussing the cop out and spitting at cops. And that doesn't forward the ball for anybody. First of all, Let's say you're the toughest guy watching this video. Let's say you're Bruce Lee reincarnated. And let's say you can beat the snot out of that cop. Even if he pulls a gun, you can disarm him. You can't beat his radio. And within 5 minutes, there's going to be about 30 of those cops there. And let's see you whoop all them. And let's say you can whoop all 30 of them. One of them's going to shoot you. So you're not going to win. Same thing with running from them in your car. I don't care if I've got some pretty bad cars myself, but I don't care if you can outrun him. You can't outrun his radio. You can't outrun his helicopter. And whatever you're worried about them finding or charging you with, it's better than what it's going to be if you commit a couple of felonies trying to run from them. So just pull over. I mean, the place to fight a cop is not on the side of a road, it's in a courtroom. And so if he writes you a ticket, you think it's bogus, get a lawyer, go fight it, something like that. But anyway, we're getting off topic here. I wouldn't have ran from the cops if the only problem was I had a mud flap missing. It's probably going to be a warning anyway. It's not a moving violation, or at least I don't think it is. Passing a scale, I think everybody's done it at some point in their life accidentally, some of you on purpose. But, if you do, pull over on the shoulder, walk over to the scale house, say, hey, I missed the ramp. A lot of times they'll tell you, go ahead and go. They figure if you got something to hide, you wouldn't walk back. Some of them will say, well, hang on, I'll come out there and check your paperwork. But they're not going to get you for blowing the scales 9 times out of 10 if you just pull over and say, hey, I screwed up. I thought the exit was further up or whatever. But it's just, you certainly don't want to run for 40 miles and have them chase you. The article said that they threw out 2 sets of spike strips. So the first set didn't stop him. And so I don't know. I don't know what it is about that generation. And I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about age. These 18 to say 25-year-olds that have no respect for authority, no respect for the law, and they just think they're going to do whatever they're going to do. Anyway, let's jump back into some more comments. I'll get off my soapbox for a minute. Broke down yesterday. The new fuel filters nowadays are a pain in the ass. Fuel filter somehow got loose and lost prime. What happened to the days of being able to use a quart of transmission fluid? Yeah, the filters are getting harder to change. I mean, depending on what engine you've got, things like that, they're getting more expensive. I know earlier today, I was talking to someone and they were talking about how expensive shops have got to have repairs and maintenance done. And I said, well, can you name anything in the past 5 years that's got cheaper? Except freight rates. Now, freight rates, yes, they've got cheaper. Almost everything you can name has gone up, and some of it's because inflation's hovering at whatever it is now, 8 or 10%, depending on who you ask. Some people say 2 or 3%, but whatever inflation is right now, everything's expensive. I was telling my son, I remember when gas was 50 cents a gallon, and I remember people saying, if it ever hits $1 a gallon, I'll quit driving. My dad was telling me stories of when he was a kid, he could take a girl on a date, put gas on the car, take a girl on a date for $5. And now $5 wouldn't even get you the gas for the date to go pick her up. So, everything is going up, and it's a shame. Rates have got to go up to match what the cost of living is. And man, drivers are cutting their own throats. You look on these load boards, and everybody wants to blame the broker. I'm talking about load boards where you bid on stuff, and drivers are bidding loads at $1.20, $1.30 a mile. Why would you do that to yourself? I'm starting out at $2.50, $2.80. And drivers are coming in and undercutting me. they don't undercut me by 10 cents. They go down and undercut me by half price. I put my first bid at 280 or something like that. They're coming back at $1.40. That's not negotiation right there. That's corporate suicide. And I don't know if they don't know their numbers, if they're under the philosophy, oh, I just got to run. I got to run. You got to run, but you got to run profitably. And so, yeah, to fix things. Let's see what else we got here. 2020 Cascadia electric APU, 505 horsepower, 455,000 for 70K. Boy, that's a tough question to answer. It doesn't sound like a terrible deal, but I would want to see how the truck was spec'd, condition, things like that. You guys know I'm a big fan of electric APUs. Now, having said that, I've got a regular diesel-powered APU, but the EPUs, the electric power units, every one I've ever used has been great. I think International actually has the best one. The only downside to the International one is that it mounts under the bunk, kind of where your luggage door is on the passenger side, and it takes up a lot of your under the bunk space. But it's quiet. It seems to work well, and yeah, I'm glad you said that, SRJ, because I thought about that as well too. Um, you know what this is going to do is influence bad behavior. And what I mean by that is other drivers that are his age are going to go, because he's going to get a payday. I think we all agree he's going to get some charges too, probably end up on probation, but he's going to get a payday. And other 23-year-old drivers that are new in the industry are going to go, well, if I run from the cops and I overreact, there's a big payday in my future. And so we're rewarding bad behavior. And it's really a shame. It's there's just a lot of bad here. Coincidentally, and to me it's unrelated, the guy involved was a black male, and there's going to be a certain segment of the population, I'm not talking about race here, both white, black, Hispanic, you name it, that are going to attribute this to racism. And who knows, when they do an investigation, we may find out at some point this is racism. Right now, I don't think we should pull that card. I don't think we should assume that. I don't even know that we should assume that this guy doesn't like truck drivers. I know I brought that up earlier. But I think we could assume that, I think it was in Centerville, Ohio, small town cop, probably doesn't see a lot of action. And, he's got his first big truck chase. The dog's excited. He's excited. And he lets the dog go. Split second decision. But the thing that's going to hurt him is they're yelling, do not release the dog. He's got his hands up. And he releases the dog. And then for an uncomfortable amount of time, he just lets that dog attack that guy. As soon as the guy went on the ground, the guy's like, please help me. Somebody help me. He should have pulled the dog off. They had him in custody. It's not a torture session. And it's just unfortunate all the way around. Remember, guys, don't abandon your PJs. That's right. Save them and use them for yard decorations in front of your house. I'm here running some spot market freight. Nice long one, Cali to Florida. Pretty fair rate. Wow. Well, congratulations. There's not a lot of them that are, not a lot of the long ones are paying real good right now. I'm finding a lot of the shorter trips are really good, especially if you can make your daily goals for revenue. Spent 14 years wearing the uniform, got out in 2016, would never go back. Yeah, I had a guy that, actually, I've got a few friends that are in law enforcement, and this is really a terrible time to be a police officer, in my opinion, because everybody's got a camera, everybody's second guessing you, and I'm guilty of it. I'm second guessing this cop after watching this video. But it's a tough job, and it used to not pay well. It pays pretty good now because, they make, I think in Lubbock right now, they're making 55, 60,000 a year. And then they're going out and they're doing security jobs in their off time, and they're making another 25 to $50 an hour. Oftentimes to sit at a Burger King and eat a hamburger and make sure teenagers behave. So you can make some money in law enforcement. There are some facets of law enforcement that are dangerous, and there's some guys that'll never see any action. They'll be in a small town drinking coffee and eating donuts and writing speeding tickets and doing funeral processions. So I don't know that you can say every police officer lays his life on the line. I guess some of them. I guess there's always that risk, but there was a study that came out a few years ago, and there's actually more truck drivers that are injured every year than there are police officers. Now, granted, a lot of the police officers are injured in car pursuits, foot chases, uh, wrestling people to the ground and handcuffing. A lot of truck drivers are injured getting in and out of their truck, falling, getting in and out of the back of the trailer, falling, stepping in potholes at truck stops, things like that. So different type of injuries, but yeah, I don't know. I got to be careful what I say. I'm going to tick off a lot of people with these two videos, but I'm trying to be an umpire and call it down the middle just like I see it. Do you mind sharing what's the average week miles you run when you lease with Swift? I actually got an answer to that question yesterday. So this guy, I know, if I said his name, most of you would know who he is. He's very well known at Swift, and he has access to a lot of the upper management at Swift. He told me right now the average independent contractor at Swift is averaging about 2,000 miles a week, which I'll be honest with you, on a mileage contract is not great. Let's take a look at that. Let's say the average load at Swift pays between $1.26 and $1.36 a mile. Let's split the middle. Let's call it $1.30 a mile. Let's say that you ran 2,000 miles a week. Let me get the old calculator out here. So 2,000 times $1.30, 2,600. Let's say that you're getting a fuel surcharge of 40 cents. So $1.30 plus 40 cents is $1.70. Put your weekly revenue at 3,400. But wait, there's more. Let's say you had my truck payment, which was $676 a week. Let's say you spent $1,500 on fuel. Let's say your dailies, your insurances, your things like that, your ELD. Let's say they're $300 a week, and I may be a little high on that. Suddenly you're at $924 a week. But wait, there's more. Now you got to take out your maintenance fund. And it could be, pick your number, 10 to 15 cents a mile. Let's call it 10 cents a mile. Since we might have been a little high on the insurance, let's call it 10 cents a mile. That's another $200. Now you're at $724 a week. Does anybody listening to this show right now think $724 a week is a good rate? Anybody? Maybe if you're well, I don't even know if you work fast food, if that's a good rate. You make $15 an hour doing fast food, 40 hours a week, that's $600 a week. So you're getting $124 a week more to be away from your family, to live in a small box out on the road and have all the risk, all the scrutiny of DOT. It doesn't seem like like something that I would be interested in doing. Now, let's talk about it like this. Yes, it's 724 a week right now, but is it going to stay that way forever? You guys have heard me say the most money I ever made inside of trucking or outside of trucking was at Swift Transportation. So it's going to get better. The question is, can you live on 724 a week until it does get better? Or can you tolerate where you're at right now till things get better? Um, I can tell you point blank, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. There's things I miss about Swift. I loved having the terminal network, being able to find parking. I loved their showers at the terminals, things like that. The equipment was nice. I liked all the drop and hook, but it would be very difficult to leave where I'm at right now. The owner of this company's been very good to me, but I do miss the money over there. Same thing here, though. If I can just hang on a little longer, rates are going to go up. And he and I were talking about that today. Uh, he can't tell me when, I can't tell him when, but we collectively agree that rates are going to go up. We collectively hope that it's sooner better than later, but we're both in this for the long game. My good friend John Toohey is saying, hi, I made it just listening while I'm driving. Also saying hi to Tim. Tim is probably hearing your hello, but he's also driving. I doubt he'll be able to answer back. All right, I understand. Be careful out there, Red Raider. There you go. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Hey, William Scooby, glad you're here. Okay, so that's a great question too. So in that scenario I told you, maybe I need to make a video about this because this is a debate I had with a lot of guys when I worked at Swift. Let's say you're getting $1.30 a mile at Swift and a 40-cent fuel surcharge. You're at $1.70, right? Well, to make that same money on the spot market, because remember, I'm in an 80-20 split. So I believe I know the number, but I'm going to double check my math. Oops. Sorry, typo. Yeah, to make about the same money as what I made at Swift on the spot market, I have to get about 215, between 212, 215 a mile, because 20% automatically goes off the top. Also, now instead of doing drop and hook, I'm doing live load, live unload. Now, obviously, when I get those 280 a mile loads, 250 a mile loads, I'm picking up one tomorrow at noon that's right around 270, 280 a mile. Obviously, on those loads, I make more money than I did at Swift. But when guys get on here and they cut the rate and it's at $1.30, $1.40, really anything below that 215 mark, then I made more at Swift. So that's where sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Sometimes being on a mileage rate is better. Sometimes being on spot market's better. I'll give you another example. I used to have a good friend that lived in Florida. Everybody knows traditionally that rates were usually decent going in Florida, terrible coming out. Right now, they're terrible going in and terrible coming out. But if you live in Florida and you want to go home every 2 weeks, a mileage rate's the way to go, without a doubt. If you live in Florida, you want to go home once every 4 months, maybe spot market's the way to go. And so, yeah, that's what I would say about that. Maybe I'll do a video about that because that's a really good topic. And no matter how many times I talk about it, people don't seem to get it. So no, I don't include taxes or health insurance in my numbers. Here's why. First of all, health insurance will be the same for me whether I'm at Swift or whether I'm running the spot market, because I uh, I get it from healthcare.gov, and so that's going to be the same. The reason I don't discuss taxes is every single person that watches this video, your taxes are going to be different than mine. I know what my taxes are. I'm hoping you know what your taxes are, and you can deduct those numbers yourself. But I don't want to scare somebody or embolden somebody by throwing my tax numbers in there and 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 muddying the water. And I had a YouTuber, this been a couple of years ago. He told me I should include my car payments, house payments, uh, all of that in there too. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. I've got 4 cars. Some of you have 1 car. Some of you don't have a car at all. Why would I tell you, oh, you can only make this amount a week because I've subtracted 4 car payments and insurance for 4 car payments when you don't even have a car? So I try to keep things on an even plane where you can plug your numbers in to my deal and see where you would be at. And the person I think that does this the best is probably Cash is King, because I've seen him a lot of times. He'll talk gross numbers and he'll kind of give you a rough estimate of what his numbers are, but he clearly states in his video, your numbers are going to be different than mine. I'm just trying to give you a rough idea, and he does very well. Were all the terminals well accommodated? Like, did they all have cafes, showers, bunk rooms, etc.? No, there's varying levels. None of them had bunk rooms that I remember. As soon as I say that, there'll be somebody that'll name 1 or 2 that did. The showers were like nice hotel quality, nice. There was a couple. I know Memphis and Phoenix had cafes. A couple of them had like a video game room. You could take your Xbox or something into and play games if you wanted to. Almost all of them had a gym. Some were fancier than others, but it was just a nice, relaxing place to go. You did have to bring your own towels for the showers, and that was fine. I carried 3 towels and 3 washcloths, and when you get to places like Denver, uh, it's nice being able to go to the terminal, and it was crowded at the terminal, but you could make yourself a parking spot and get through the night. But I didn't have nowhere near the freedom I have now, and that's why I really like what I'm doing. So Jimmy wants to know why I left Swift. Yeah, it's I can see where that question had come up, and I've answered it a few times, but I realize when I get on here and I say good things about Swift, it brings that question. Well, if they're so great, why'd you leave? And the deal is, uh, and I'll have to also remember some of you hadn't been with me through the whole journey. I had a good friend. He's in here sometimes, Shaker. Matter of fact, I just talked to him yesterday or day before. Anyway, he had a truck. He wanted to sell it to me. I bought it real cheap, and I spent about 2 months putting money in it, getting it roadworthy, and I had always wanted to run the spot market again. Swift was doing a load board. They're still working on it. I was beta testing it for them, and honestly, it was a little bit of a letdown. It wasn't as advertised. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And the more I learned about it, the more I realized it wasn't what I was looking for. At Dart, I had done the spot market. I loved the spot market, and that's what I wanted to do again. So I had some friends over at F2F in the office, people I knew, people I had conversed with, people that at the Matt's Truck Show I spent a lot of time with. We had a lot of good discussions, and I made a decision at that truck show that I was going to bring that Volvo out that I had bought from that viewer and put it to work. And so I turned my Swift truck in. I took that Volvo and I went to work for F2F. F2F was a super company. Um, I really liked them. I did well for the short time I was there, but I had an accident in Texarkana and totaled the truck. And uh, F2F fired me in the weirdest way I've ever been fired. They said, insurance is making us let you go, but we want to bring you back. They said, we may be calling you in a few weeks wanting to bring you back. From my understanding, they're still wanting to bring me back. They're still working on it. But I sat at home about 6 or 7 weeks waiting on the insurance check. And when I got it, I went and bought a truck from Avery. His number's down in the ticker below if you want to basically have a lease purchase truck without a lease purchase company. So I can move the truck to any company, the title's in my name, all of that. But anyway, so I got the truck, and another viewer said, "Hey, I'm working for this guy, small company. He's got about 5 trucks. He's a great guy." She wrote me a really long email, and she's like, "Just give him a call, see what you think." And I was going through my list. I started with about 60 companies, and I talked to him on the phone, and I liked what he had to say. Then he flew out to Lubbock, him and his wife, and they met with me and my wife. We had dinner together for probably 2.5, 3 hours, had a real productive conversation, and I decided to go to work for him. Since I've gone to work for him, he's been great. The truck has been good at times, bad at times, but he's always been steady. He's always been great. Um, I haven't caught him in any lies yet. I haven't caught him doing any dishonest stuff with pay or no, any shady things, nothing like that. It's been an adventure, though. For example, my starter went out on my truck the first day of orientation in his driveway, and part of my orientation was him putting a starter on my truck and me assisting him. Now I did assist, but I'll admit he did the bulk of the labor, and to this day, I'm still grateful for that. I mean, if he fired me tomorrow morning, um, I would still be grateful for all that he's done for me so far, and all of that. So yeah, great guy, and you know nothing lasts forever. If I had to quit him at some point, I would try to do it in the best way that I possibly could. I don't want to burn this guy or anything like that. And I could recommend him with a clear conscience. He's a great guy. At some point, I'll probably do that. I'll say, "Hey, I work at ABC Company, and you guys have seen my videos. You know I love it here. If you want to talk to this guy, call this number and talk to him." I'm not where I want to do that yet, but that day is probably coming sooner rather than later. You can't work at a great place and not tell people about it. Just like you can't watch a great TV show and not tell people about it, or watch a great movie and not tell people about it. When you have a good experience, you want others to know about it. So I'm sure at some point that information's coming out. Anyway, sorry for the long-winded answer, Jimmy. Hope I got you what you was wanting to know. Hey, Ramon, thanks for being here, my friend. I'm not sure on one of your comments. I may have answered it twice. I wanted to make sure I didn't overlook you, but I think in doing that, I may have answered you twice on Facebook. But if I did, I'm sorry about that. Hey, Todd, hope all is good and the tank is holding out. Yeah, the tank is great now. I can get a little over 2 hours now before the seats go down. So I'm very happy with that. Before, I mean, it started off, I'd get about 15 minutes and it went down to about 2 minutes. I mean, it was going down quick. And so I feel really good about the repairs they made to the tank. And, it's a learning experience. I know what I did wrong in that situation. And the next time there's a breakdown, I know how I'm going to handle it differently. In an effort to hurry, I actually made it take longer. Jimmy Moore is here. if you're with Swift, the only way you can actually make money is on the Bean account. I did pretty good over the road there. My good friend Robbie Ross is here. Hey, Todd. Hello from the oven in Phoenix. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, somebody told me today it's like, I don't remember what they said, 110, 112 there. Something crazy. I love Phoenix. I hate the heat. Sorry I'm late. Did you say who who you're at now? No, I didn't. Still not releasing that yet. I really want to. I promise you. Alaska Hall. How much did you pay for the KW? I'm not giving the exact numbers for this reason. Uh, they base the prices and a lot of things on credit and things like that. Um, I know that I did pay a little over for the truck, and it's the same reason I don't do taxes and health insurance when I give income estimates, because if I say my truck cost whatever it cost, then somebody else calls and their truck's $10,000 higher, then they're mad. Or somebody else calls and their truck's 10,000 cheaper, and they're going, "Oh, Trucker Todd got screwed." And so, just to keep the drama down, or things like that, I'm not giving the exact number. Also, then the guys are calling Avery. They're going, "I can't believe you sold Trucker Todd that truck for this amount. You ripped him off." And I'm trying to avoid that. What I would say is, I know I overpaid probably about 25 or 30,000 over what I think the truck is worth, but I would have overpaid anywhere, and let me tell you why. Aero Truck Sales, Lone Mountain, all of those. If you're a first-time buyer, you're going to put. Some of them I've talked to wanted 40% down. I got this one for 5,000 down plus the title transfer fees. I ended up, I think it was 57.28 out the door. Truck payments about $20 a week higher than what I was paying at Swift. I was paying $676 at Swift, and now I'm paying $695 a week. Their truck payments range, if you call Avery, between $650 and $750. In rare instances, some people will get it with no money down, but most people are going to be in that $5,000 to $6,000 range for down payment. So, yeah, that's what I would say about the KW. This one's a little harder to gauge because when you get on truck paper and look, I hadn't seen a truck yet that was spec'd like this one with all the amenities this one has. So, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stepping around that question a little bit. Are you willing to share what you put down on the truck and what your monthly payments are? Yeah, I just put that out. $695 a week, and I think the total with taxes, title transfer, everything was 57.28. Man, I wish I had your load, Roger. I'm leaving Troy, Ohio, heading to Tennessee. So these are two more great questions. Yes, I'm making money. I'm doing really well, actually. The problem is I have a ton of debt, and that's nobody's fault but my own. I'm going to have to do some restructuring of things and or just work myself out of it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but yeah, I'm making. Well, I'm not going to throw numbers up because this isn't the time to do that yet. There will be a time when I'll show numbers. But yeah, I think most of you would be content with what I make. But it's I've got an unreasonable amount of debt, and so maybe that means refinancing some stuff. Maybe that means selling some stuff. I'm not sure what it all means yet. That's a process I'm working through right now. Yeah, a long time ago. I left Swift, I think back in May. Having a bad day. Drum broke in half. Blew my new tire. Bent the rim. Call Love's Road Service. Charged me 17.45. Ouch. Run out of hours. Now sleeping in a ramp. Oh man, that really does stink. I'm starting to think my bad luck is contagious. I'm having everybody I know is calling me, telling me about their truck breaking down. Some of it though, all joking aside, is just the heat. This time of year, it seems like a lot of stuff breaks when it's super hot and in the winter when it's super cold. Do they offer lease reefer trailers? Yeah, they have a few reefer trailers, my understanding, and they have a lot of dry van trailers. And I actually looked at getting one. Right now, it's not on the table for me to do because I got such a good deal where I'm at on trailers. Honestly, I can't beat what he's offering me. But like I said, if his arrangement he had on trailers changed or something, and he had to go up significantly on his trailer rental fees, I might get one from him. I have had discussions with them about trailers in the past. What are you averaging a mile off the load board? It really varies depending what part of the country I'm in and day to day. And so I'll I need to sit down and calculate that number up. I did ask the owner of the company fleet wide a few weeks ago what guys were averaging a mile off the load board, and in his fleet they were averaging, like, I think he said 258 a mile, and I think at the time I was in the 240s. So having said that, um, I could tell you, and maybe I can get those numbers together for you guys by the Thursday show. Having said that, in my current situation, I am outperforming what I would do at Swift. But you got to remember, I've been doing load boards for basically 4 years. So um, your experience level is going to have a lot to do with how successful you are. Sure, you can buy my Crown Vic. I hate to sell it right now because my pickup's down, my Corvette's in pieces. So we're down to just two vehicles. If I sell you the cop car, the Crown Vic, we're down to one. But yeah, you can buy the cop car. Everybody should learn how to replace your own tires and always have your spare. These service calls will make some of you go bankrupt. Yeah, I don't know how practical that is. You got to have an impact. You got to have, a pretty big air compressor, things like that. Um, so yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, but and I don't know how many guys could physically do it. I don't know if I could get out there and throw a tire and wheel around. I can do it on my cars. I don't know about on a semi. And then you got liability issues. You see how these guys drive around the truck stops and back into docks and back into parking places. Do you really want them changing tires and rolling down the road with 80,000 pounds at 70 miles an hour on a tire they just put the lug nuts on? I probably don't. I'd probably want the professionals to do it. Going to a Bryan Adams concert tonight. Dart picked up a load to El Paso off the spot board. I rejected it. 412 miles live load and unload. Rich, I know which Rich you're talking about. I almost said his name, messaged me telling me I must do it. I told him y'all booked a load without consulting me. Yeah, I don't get how they can tell you you must do a load as an independent contractor. Incidentally, this guy, we're not talking about Swift. He works at a different company, so this is not a Swift situation. Could you explain what you break even is weekly, include all of your costs? Yeah, I've actually done that. So, man, it's easier to do when I'm set up for it. I don't have all that information right in front of me right now. But basically, the place I'm at, a lot of what you'd call your fixed expenses are covered in his 20%. So the ELD, things like that. So my truck insurance runs $340 a month. My truck payment is $695 a week. I pay for fuel. The escrow, let me see if I can pull it up. It's $1,500 escrow. If I remember correctly, it is. Sorry, I got to get out of some stuff. It's $1,500 escrow. I've got a few payments left on it. And then my trailer rental is $125 a week. And I think by doing that, I've shared everything. Let me go to a settlement and see if there's something I'm missing. I always, when we do numbers like this, I'm always afraid I'm going to leave somebody out. Somebody's going to think I'm trying to mislead. And so I'm just know that I'm doing my best to be as transparent as I can. And, you know, if I miss something, it's not in an effort to deceive. It's just because I'm human. Well, that's the wrong one. I don't want to look at that one. Trying to find something that has everything on here. Here's one. So let's see if I missed anything. Escrow is 125 a week. I said 150. Trailer rentals also 125 a week. And then my fuel. Like I said, everything else is covered in that 25% or in that 20%. I did get my plates from him and I was paying those back. Those are already paid off. Uh, and then of course DEF, fuel, things like that are coming out. But yeah, it's really a pretty, and that's one thing I like about this place. It's you know, I mentioned that that I hadn't had any funny business with payroll or nothing like that. Part of the reason is that the settlements are real simple. They're real easy to understand, and we get paid after every trip, so it makes it easy to makes it real easy to calculate and see if there's a problem. And so far, I hadn't had any. I think one time he overcharged me for the trailer for like $25, and he literally had it fixed the next day. So there hadn't been any monkey business, any funny stuff, and it's been kind of great because you guys remember at Roadrunner we did have some payroll issues. At Dart we had some payroll issues, and a couple of times at Swift, although they were pretty good about fixing them too. The best way to prevent a steer tire from blowing. Part of me wants to say something funny. Part of me wants to answer this honestly. The best way to prevent a steer tire from blowing is to drive slow, avoid chug holes, and keep them properly inflated. Uh, I guess the best way to prevent a steer tire from blowing is not drive your truck at all. But I would add one more thing to that is good tire inspections. And another guy on another channel talks about getting out and running your hands around your tires, feeling, looking for uneven spots, things like that. Some of you are going to think that's excessive. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. Just, you know, your steer tire, just like your other tires, catching a problem when it first starts to arise is better than waiting until the problem's been there for a while. If you start seeing flat spots, uneven wear, figure out what's going on. Checking your tire pressure several times a week. I know some of you are going to say every day. I don't do it every day, but a couple times a week I get out and check my tire pressures. Got a tire gauge in my driver's door. Hop out, takes about 5-10 minutes, and then I know where my tires are at. And at some point, real soon, I'm going to get a tire pressure monitoring system. I'm working with some companies right now, and I may end up having one of them sponsor me and then doing a review about how well they work. No, the cop car runs great. The only issue is the check engine's lights on because that carbon box for the emissions uh, needs to be changed. I hadn't changed it yet. It's about a $400 part. Um, that's the only thing wrong with it. But I drive it. It's my daily driver right now when I'm there. The only thing that carbon box does is when you're fueling, it doesn't vent good always. So sometimes you have to pump the fuel a little slower. Cruise control works. I've got one window that kind of intermittently rolls up and down when it wants to. It's got 117,000 miles on it, and it runs like a top. Runs like you would expect it to run. Like I said, I'm not even 100% sure I want to sell it, but I might in this situation. It gets it off my insurance and things like that. So we'll see. But yeah, email me about it, Todd at truckertodd.net. Texas Outlaw says he's got to run. Have a great evening, sir. God bless you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Get you some rest. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day for you. So let me talk about that for a minute because that's an initial reaction that a lot of people will say, and I'm actually kind of blown away by it for a couple of reasons. The same guys that'll tell me an 80-20 split is excessive are the same guys that'll tell me I should go to Landstar for 65%. But let's exclude all that a minute. Also, the guys that don't say that often say, well, Todd, I know a company that pays 88%. I know a company that pays 84%. And true, they do. What they don't tell you, though, is they either don't show you the rate con, which I actually sign the rate cons, so you don't know what the true rate is. Super Ego's being sued for that right now. Um, Secondly, all those little things I mentioned that are included, the cargo insurance, the ELD, all of those things are covered in that 20%. So my 80% is effectively about 85 or 86%. And all of these companies that are offering a bigger cut, 8812 or whatever they're offering, a lot of times they have hidden fees. Also, remember me mentioning I'm getting my trailer for 125 a week. I talked to a guy the other day that was paying over 250 a week for his trailer. At Roadrunner, I was paying 235 a week. So um, those things add up, and so I would tell you that you might be right at some companies. 80-20 is what I was getting at F2F, but I was still getting nickel and dime for all those little things that are now covered in that 20%. So I don't think I'm getting ripped off at all. I think I've got a great deal. And like I say, if you know of a better place, tell me and I'll take a look at them. I'm not saying I'll go to work there, but I'll be happy to review them. I'll be happy to bring them on a Tuesday show and interview them. But, you know, there has to be meat on the bone for everybody. And another thing about the guy I work for, after a year, he increases you by 2%. So then it becomes an 82-18 split. And with him still covering all the things he covers, I think it's a fair deal. As I've said in videos, I want the company I'm leased on to make money because that's job security for me. And he wants me to make money because that means I'm not going to be on Craigslist looking for another trucking job or on Facebook looking for another trucking job or getting those trucking magazines out of truck stops. So he wants me to make money and I want him to make money. And I think 80-20 is fair in this situation. But like everything else, 80-20 means different things at different companies. I know companies that are doing a 70-30 split. If I'm not mistaken, that's what Dart was when I was doing the load boards over there. I think I was in a 70-30 split and still had all those fees that are now being covered in that 20% I'm paying. And just the freedom of signing my own rate cons and knowing that what I'm supposed to be getting paid. I'm actually getting paid. I don't think it's bad at all. 2,000 a week. How's that impossible to survive? Company like Prime, their truck note is 1,200 a week. What's 2,000 a week? You lost me, Shane. I'm not paying 2,000 a week. Maybe I missed a comment somewhere or something. Unless we're talking about Swift's fixed expenses or something. But they're not 2,000 a week. I'm not sure. Give me a little more information, Shane. We'll jump into it. Trucker. No, I am not at J&S Solutions. And really, I'm not going to say where I'm at yet, but I promise you it's not J&S Solutions. It's not Advanced Trucking. It's not Silver Transportation or whatever they're called. Hey, Christian Harlow is here. Glad you made it, my friend. Back to this one. I did have a couple of people prior to me going to work there that suggested this guy. He asked me who, and I tried my best to find the emails, text messages, and I couldn't find them. But he was suggested by several people. But the girl that suggested it wrote me a lengthy email, and I knew she was promoting him for the right reasons and not just for a bonus. Yeah, I was careful saying that because I don't want to jinx myself. But this December, I'll have been driving 27 years, and I've never ever blown a stair tire. Now, having said that, I'll probably jinx myself and blow 3 of them this week. But I've been really fortunate. Uh, and back when I started driving, it didn't always end well if you blew a stair tire while you was going down the road. So I've always been afraid of that, and I've always kind of taken really good care of my steers and kept a close eye on them. But I'm definitely not a tire expert. I know a guy that really is a tire expert, uh, knows a lot about it, and at some point I may bring him on the show and interview him and ask him about tires. The problem is, after a while, it gets boring to me. I mean, you hear the same thing. Check your tire depth, check your pressures, all of that. It's all stuff you guys know. Everybody has their favorite brand of tire. Everybody, it's just, I don't know how far we could go. Maybe a 15-minute interview, a 30-minute interview, but I don't know if we could make a show out of talking about tires without it getting weird. Hey, Todd, I've decided to try drive away working for Pinnacle Truck Movers and Norton. No truck note. Yeah, I know some people that's done that. Stay in touch with me, Christian. Let me know how it goes. I've got a couple of guys that are looking for jobs right now. They don't have trucks or nothing. And it might be, some good information to pass on to them. I'll tell you what I'm concerned about is how labor intensive it is piggybacking the trucks. I've heard some companies do it for you. I've heard some companies want you to do it. And I honestly don't know how labor intensive that is. Don't really know a lot about it. Thanks for the info, Alaska Hall. What company? I assume you're talking to Christian. He mentioned that he's going to Pinnacle Truck Movers in Norton. If you're asking me, I still haven't said what company I'm at. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Like I said, you guys know I would tell you the truth. If I felt like he was nickel and diming me, if I feel like that he was setting me up for failure, I would either move to another company or I'd come on here and tell you. And if anything, he's the other way. he's bending the rules at times to make it where I can succeed. And I think 80-20, the way he's got it structured, is very fair. And so, you know, I haven't I haven't felt like I needed to complain or ask for a raise or nothing like that. But you got to remember, I started off in the car lots, and if you told your sale manager you wanted a raise, he'd say go sell another car. And it's the same in trucking. If you want a raise, work smarter and work harder, and negotiate better, because I'm negotiating my own rates. So this is a neat circumstance because almost everything that can go wrong is my fault because I'm in control of it. So it's going to be really, really difficult for me to blame him and say, well, I'm not successful because you did this. Everything's on me. If I'm not getting a good rate, it's on me. If my truck's breaking down, it's on me. And, he called me today and we had a pretty good conversation in my mind, but we're starting to talk more like two fellow drivers now. And that's nice. It doesn't feel like an employer employee relationship like sometimes it would feel when you were in a lease purchase. And, when he says, my wife and I pray for you every night, I believe him. I think he probably does. I think I think he enjoys writing me big checks because it means a big check for him too. And that's fine. I think there's enough there for both of us to do well. And the little things like the ELD, and he's doing the cargo insurance and some of those things. Now I am paying my physical damage and bobtail and occupational accident, but all the other stuff he's kind of covering. And he's really absorbing a lot in his 20%. And I have to be mindful of that. If I go home for 3 weeks, he's still got expenses. It costs him money for me to go home for 3 weeks. And you might say, well, Todd, it costs you money to go home for 3 weeks. Yeah, it does, but that's a decision I made. And when I go home for 3 weeks, that decision, my decision to go home, my decision to take time off, costs him money. And so far, I haven't done that. I was home for 8 days with that air tank, which was a lot longer than I planned to be there or wanted to be there, but that's what it turned out being. So it's real easy to blame the brokers. It's real easy to blame the guy you're working with or working for, but I really feel like I got a fair shake. Hey, Christian says he'll be in the Fort Worth area next Monday. I never know where I'll be, but if remind me when it gets around that time, maybe I'll be in the area too. I'll buy you a hamburger or something. Sorry, I mean 2,000 miles a week. That's bad. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And this right here is when you can make the best argument for percentage, because I might only run 2,000 or 2,400 miles a week, but I'm doing it at a lot higher rate per mile. So my revenue at the end of the week is still where it needs to be. When you're on a mileage contract, it's about two things. It's about fuel economy and it's about getting the miles for your revenue. At 2,000 miles a week, I just don't see how you do it. Now, maybe if you're doing some of the shorter runs and you're getting that $1.30 something a mile, maybe that helps a little bit. But you're still maybe what, at a $1.80, $1.85, and I think 9 times out of 10 I can make more on the spot market. Now there does seem to be some price fixing going on the spot market. What I mean by that is there's a lot of loads in the $1.80, $1.90 range, and if you're taking those loads, then yeah, you can make more money at Swift on their mileage contract. Also, on the spot market, if you're doing a lot of deadhead, maybe you make more at Swift on their mileage contract. because they're paying 85 cents a mile for deadhead. Most companies stack them prior to you going, but I'm going to be doing hub, which is moving single trucks. If anyone is interested, I've done a ton of research. Email me at Harlow not cartilage. Good grief. Let me drink some more Red Bull. Hang on a second. By the way, these Juneberry Red Bulls are awesome. They're only out for a limited time. But if you need a little pick me up with a decent taste, these things are great. So I'm purposefully leaving Christian's email up there for a minute. If you guys want more information about hauling new trucks around the country, give him a holler. That does not sound like a bad deal if you're moving single trucks. Of course, I don't know anything about pay. I haven't talked to Christian lately off camera to get the details. I'm just going strictly by what he put right here. So this is another great question. So do I have a plan in mind if I go belly up due to freight rates, too many truck issues, etc.? Yes. I think even if you're a company driver, it's always good to have a backup plan. There are, I mean, some of it's because of YouTube. I ain't going to lie. I get offers weekly from multiple companies. I'm sure most of you do too. Um, Probably if I went belly up, I would probably have to do a lease purchase somewhere or be a company driver. It would really depend on how sour I was at the end. And what I mean by that, there's a company in Lubbock that I used to work for about 3 years that they would hire me and I'd be home every other day. Well, depending on what I did there, either every other day or every weekend. And I could always go back there and be a company driver. It'd be significantly less money than I make now. It'd be a little harder to do the YouTube videos and the YouTube thing, but uh, they'd probably be supportive if I wanted to do that. I could do a lease purchase somewhere and and go that route again. But that those thoughts are far in my mind, and I'll tell you why. I don't I don't go into things planning to fail. And having said that, I realize it's ironic. I'm talking about, well, I could do this, I could do that, but I think I think I'll find a way to survive. And it may mean that I sell the cop car or I sell the Corvette or I refinance some things or things like that. But I'm going to hang on as long as I can. Like right now, I'm making great money, but it's just I'm not making what I was making at Swift for a lot of reasons. Some of it is YouTube. I got a lot of exposure when I was at Swift. I made a lot of money off of that, and so I lived a pretty good lifestyle because of that. I knew I was going to take a pay cut anywhere else I went, and I'm making. Most of you'd be glad to swap paychecks with me, but I'm not making what I was making between YouTube and working at Swift. And the channel analytics are way down from what they were at Swift, and that's okay. Everybody experiences peaks and valleys in their life, and I'm just in a little bit of a valley right now. But um, it's just keep going, don't give up. Let's see. I'm trying to get back. I accidentally hit the wheel and let's see. All right, I'm almost back, folks. Nothing's working. I charge guys that are leased on to me 10%. They have their own equipment, and I cover the little fees like ELD, pre-pass. My insurance a month is $1,200 for them, and that's liability, cargo, and truck trailer. Yeah, that's not a bad deal either. The Let me think about what I want to say. That's not a bad deal if somebody wants to check out Alaska Haul. He's got a 90-10 split. If you're able to do that, that would be the best one I'm aware of. So I can't knock it for sure. And like I say, if you want to put your email up or something, I'll put it up on screen like I did Christian's, so people can reach out to you. Hey, thank you, Christian. I appreciate it with the $9.99 on there. Thank you very much. I honestly appreciate it. I should be in Texas all week. Through the weekend, I'll be heading towards Laredo, towards the middle to the end of the week. Let me know if you get back that way. Yes, sir, I'll definitely do that. They also get every single rate con, and I do all the dispatch. I think that's fair. Well, you're doing a lot of work for 10%. You're dispatching them, so they're not picking their own loads off the spot market. You're picking their loads for them. Man, the truck's shaking. Oh, it's raining. Yeah, I didn't want to be dispatched. I wanted to pick my own loads and negotiate my own rates. It sounds like that you might be negotiating the rates and dispatching them, which is okay. I've actually met a lot of guys that prefer to be dispatched. So, like I say, if you want to put your email up, I'll put it on screen for a while, and people that are interested in that can contact you. Yeah, still not saying, but hopefully soon we can reveal where I'm at. So the comments have kind of slowed down for a minute. I'm gonna put his super chat back up while we talk for a second. Actually, let me pull that down so that you guys can see the website. It's ways to contact me, way to get involved with things I talk about on here. There's a lot of links on that website. There's more coming if I can just find time to do it. Also, if you guys hadn't had a chance yet, give me a thumbs up, share this video out, and also subscribe so that you receive notifications when future videos come out. Let me put this up there too. In the comments, I'm going to go ahead and put the video that I released right before this came out today. Put it up on the screen so y'all can see it. Go check out that video after the show, or run over and check it out real quick and come back. I'll get it off of there so y'all can see the website again. There's also a lot of great information in the ticker below the video. Just a lot of ways we can interact and share information amongst ourselves. But we're at the hour-and-a-half mark almost. If you guys got anything else, throw it up there. We'll talk about it. If not, I'll wrap it up here pretty quick and head over to Denver to park for the night. I have enough on my plate for now. Ah, okay. All right. Well, no problem. At some point, if you decide you want to expand, shoot me an email at todd@truckertodd.net, and we'll bring you on the Tuesday show, and you can talk about what you have to offer, and we'll try to get you some people. That'd be great. I'm gonna try to do a lot more of that this year. There's a lot of terrible companies out there, and there's a lot of great companies out there, and I'm gonna try to shine a light on a lot of the good ones, especially small companies like you uh, that are doing the right thing. Small companies like I'm at, um, and hopefully we can we can direct good drivers that are looking for good companies to places where they can all be happy. And we may have to talk about a few companies that are not so good either. Yes, sir. No problem. Love to help if I can. Your analytics may be down since Swift spends so much on recruiting. Yeah, I don't know. When I look at the analytics, I see a lot of things. Only about 25% of the people that watch my videos subscribe. I'd like to see that up a little higher. I don't know why people don't subscribe. It's free to do. But that's part of it. Part of it, if I look at the search, what people are searching for that watch my videos, the number one search result is Trucker Todd. So the people that are coming to my videos are looking specifically for me. I also get a lot of search results for lease purchase. Even though I'm not doing a lease purchase anymore, I'm still kind of Mr. Lease Purchase, and I still advise a lot of people on lease purchases and things like that. I think name recognition did help me. At one point, well, for most of the time I was there. Um, so yeah, that I think all of that plays into it. And anyway, I'll get back into the comments. I'm trying not to ramble. I get a tendency to ramble. I like your hat. Is that Trucker Todd merchandise? No, this hat was given to me by Thermo King, and I tried to wear a flag, something patriotic, because of that video that came out right before this live started. There is Trucker Todd merchandise that will be coming out later this year. And the thing that's holding it up, I'm just going to be quite honest with you, is me coming up with a logo. I do not have a logo yet, and that's what's killing things. The person that was creating a logo for me quit, and I haven't got a new person looking for a logo yet. And so if any of you guys got a logo recommendation, send it to Todd at truckertodd.net. And you never know, I may use your logo recommendation. Yes, the APU got fixed. I was going to do it myself, put the belt on it, and I ended up taking it to Thermo King. It was 100 and something in Texas and super hot. And it was a good thing I did. They ended up having to clear all the codes out of it. And they also found a fuel pump that was bad. This is a 2019 model APU on a 2020 Kenworth. And it had a plastic fuel pump on it. And they said those are junk. And Thermo King has since retrofitted them with a metal one that's supposed to be a lot better. And so they put the newer style fuel pump on it. And me and him went in there on the laptop and we tweaked a lot of the settings. And it actually works outstanding right now, like a brand new unit. It's $370 something to fix. But we got it going right before the air tank drama unfolded. Thanks, Christian. Yeah, this hat was given to me by the Thermo King in Lubbock, Texas. They've got a lot of these hats in there, and I'm sure they'd give you one if you stopped there. They actually gave me 3 or 4 hats, and I'm going to try to wear them in a few videos. They were really good to me, and I haven't talked about them as much as I probably should. But let me talk about Thermo King in Lubbock, Texas for just a few minutes. They showed me how to download the software where I can plug into my to my truck and adjust the settings on my APU, how I can pull codes, all of that. They show me how to check maintenance and things like that. And I mean, they showed me a lot of stuff I could do myself to save myself from labor. Now, they're hoping that I'll get my services done there, and I probably will. Uh, for just for a second set of eyes to see things I might miss, things like that. But they were they went above and beyond in my opinion, and I was hoping they'd send me a survey because it would have been a good one for them. But they treated me well. I ended up being there most of the afternoon, not because of the repair, but just because they were really focused on helping me, on having a good experience, things like that. So let's see here. Gary Cook coming in with the 9.99. Good show, Trucker Todd. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. Uh, you guys are awesome. D Trucker, I found someone to do mine on Fiverr. I described all the elements I wanted included, and the graphic designer came up with a good one for me, $65. Yeah, that's great. My problem is I don't know what I want. It's one of those deals. I'll know it when I see it. I have a contact in Wisconsin that does hats for a channel I watch called Victory Outdoor Services on YouTube. Yeah, my brother runs a company that does stuff like this. There's also some companies that do t-shirts and coffee mugs, and they handle inventory and shipping and all of that. And you don't make a lot. You make $2 or $3 an item or something, but I think it'd be cool to get some merchandise out there. One guy, one of my friends, he's been asking for a coffee mug for 2.5 years now, so I may send him one uh, as a Christmas present and and go from there. But yeah, it that is on the list of things to get done this year. I'm trying to come up with some stuff to give away when I'm at the truck shows. Um, some Trucker Todd pins or Trucker Todd's merchandise, and so that kind of stuff is coming. And so I hope to get it to you guys soon. I'm just kind of having a brain block on a logo, and hopefully some of you guys will come up with something. I was afraid this question had come up. So Trucker Todd will no longer be appearing on this channel until further notice. At this time, it's not, let's say, appropriate for me to comment on why or what led to that decision. But you guys can contact him, and he can explain to you why he's not on here no more. We've had text conversations, we've had email conversations, and we've had phone calls of why he won't be appearing on this channel anymore. And I think he has a clear understanding of why that is. And I'm still using him for my tax services. I still think he's a good accountant, but for the foreseeable future, he won't be on the channel no more. Yeah, I appreciate you putting the link up for him. I may have to have you email it to me. Don't email it to me yet because I get so many emails that it'll get lost before I get a chance to act on it. But um, at some point pretty soon, I'll get in touch with you and we'll figure it out. Or if you want to have Ryan contact me, that might even be better. We'll bring him on a Tuesday show and he can talk about his company because we have a lot of YouTubers that watch this channel and they may want to get some merchandise through him as well. I'm just here to help people. That's an example. Great channel, concrete channel. Ryan, the owner of Victory, he's a Christian guy. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, I'd love to talk to him if he wants to come on. And if he don't, I'll still talk to him off air. I delivered it in Elizabeth, New Jersey at 3 p.m. today. It was raining cats and dog. Kind of felt like a hurricane came through. Yeah, it just started raining here all of a sudden. And it looks like it's stopped again. Man, I know this is kind of like a squirrel moment. There's a Western Flyer Express uh, W900 over there that looks amazing. I'm not endorsing WFX for sure, but man, it's a pretty truck. He's backing in a few spots over. Don't overthink the logo. Better to get something out there and change it later if you're stuck. Yeah, well, the problem is I want to put logos on the truck and everything. So whatever I decide on, I've got to commit to. And but I appreciate the advice, and I'll take it into consideration. But yeah, I want to do the truck up and everything, and I've just got to come up with something that looks right. And those of you that know my truck is a dark blue. The lettering on it is silver, kind of looks like Dallas Cowboys type deal. And so my logo probably needs to look good in silver. I was teasing the owner of the company. I believe he's a Saints fan. I was teasing him that I was going to put a Dallas Cowboys star on here. And he was teasing me back. Don't you ruin my stickers with your Dallas Cowboys stuff. My good friend, Robbie, with the $5 contribution. Thank you very much, man. That's my Bulldog Lincoln. He's my co-pilot on the truck. I think it would be cool to have a Bulldog, but they're expensive. Um, if anybody knows a good deal on a Bulldog, or if I'm going to get myself in trouble with the wife, but we lost a dog that lived 18 years, and we could have been kind of slow to get another one. But it'd be kind of cool to get a Bulldog. The high school I went to, that was the mascot, the Bulldogs, and so it'd be kind of cool to have a Bulldog. I just don't want to pay, $2,000 or $3,000 for one. But if someone wants to donate one to the channel or something like that, I'd be happy to have one and introduce him in videos and all that good stuff. Just a dog on the truck, it's fun, but it can also be inconvenient because they always seem to need to go to the bathroom when you're in a traffic jam or when you're stuck at a shipper for 4 hours or something like that at real inconvenient times. But they can also be a lot of fun. They're good for your health because they force you to get out and exercise when you want to sit here and play video games or make YouTube videos. But also remind you guys, Christmas is coming soon. If you guys all wanted to jump in and get me a Bulldog together, that'd be okay too. That would be just wonderful. Have 50 Bulldogs show up at my house. Ryan at victoryoutdoorservices.com. The people that make his merchandise are absolutely awesome. All right, I'll like I said, I'm probably going to have to ask you for that again, but at some point in the next couple of months, I'll probably be reaching out to you about that. And you may have to remind me. Put a Green Bay Packers sticker on the truck. You wouldn't think that I like Green Bay because I'm a Cowboys fan, and I think the world of Dak Prescott. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I like Green Bay too. I mean, I'm a general football fan. I could walk into a truck stop, and I realized I was mentioning to my wife, we're not that far away from football season starting again. So I'll be listening to it on Sirius XM while I'm going down the road. But I can walk into a truck stop and in the driver's lounge see a bunch of guys watching an NFL game. And it doesn't matter who's playing. I can sit down and watch that and enjoy it. I love the game of football. Hey, Trucker Todd, Speed Shifter's here. I was talking to him, wasn't it right before the show? Good to see you in here tonight, my friend. He is 10, Todd. I actually paid 1,200, got a great deal. Oh yeah, you got an excellent deal. They're about double that, every one I've seen. And there's a lot of good breed of dogs, and that's what I want. I don't want a Rottweiler. I don't want a German Shepherd, something huge. But a small or medium sized dog is great on the truck. You need a Malinois, like a Shepherd, but no shedding. Police dog. No, I don't need a police dog. Slacky Dak. I don't know. I would argue that a lot of Dak's misfortune is not Dak's fault. Like some of those interceptions that he took the heat for, he would throw the ball. It would be in the receiver's hands. The receiver would muff it or whatever, and it'd get intercepted. And it's obviously the quarterback is going to be the guy that it rides on his shoulders. And if he does great this season, everybody will talk about what a great quarterback he is. And if he chokes, everybody will say he's the worst Cowboys quarterback in the history of the franchise. And it's one of those deals. Uh, Being the Cowboys quarterback is probably the most high profile position in the NFL, but I think he represents the team well. I think he represents them with a certain level of class and integrity, and I really like the guy. Um, but I think he's going to have to win the big game here pretty soon. I don't think he can keep going to the playoffs and not finishing the deal. But I do like the guy. I liked Troy Aikman. I never was a big Tony Romo fan, but Troy Aikman, Dak Prescott, uh, just I really like them. Go Dogs, three-peat UGA, three-peat. Good grief, my tongue ain't working. Trucking every day. I wouldn't be opposed to putting a Swift sticker on my truck. I still say good things about Swift. I like it over there. I still have regular contact with people that work over there, um, both in management and drivers. I really wanted to do the spot market again, and everything aligned to where I was able to do it. Bengals fan here. I live in New Orleans. Now, there you go, right there. The only team I can't stand is the New Orleans Saints, and it's because of the who dat. I always thought that was stupid, and I want to see the New Orleans Saints get stomped every single game. But pretty much any other team in the NFL, and the Raiders. I don't like the Raiders, uh, just because their fans, Raider fans are their problem. But it, they seem to stir up a lot of trouble, stuff like that. But everybody else in the NFL I like. I'm from Boston, enjoyed my 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady 12 and my Patriots. Yeah, I don't know. Tom Brady, I mean, you can't knock the guy, but I just so many people bandwagon supported him that I always found myself rooting against him just because he he had that bandwagon following. I do like Patrick Mahomes over at Kansas City. He played college ball in Lubbock, and so um, he's a great guy. Somebody I'd really like to meet at some point. Um, every account and story you hear about him in Lubbock, people are saying nice things about him. You don't ever hear a story about Patrick Mahomes being entitled or acting bad. He's always classy and a good guy. So I got a pretty high opinion of Patrick Mahomes as well. I'm not a Dak fan. He makes poor decisions. I love my team. We'll be in Dallas against Rodgers in week 2 and Phoenix in week 3. Well, there you go. Yeah, you go to Dallas a lot. We're going to have to hang out sometime. Can you give some tip about pre-purchasing inspection? So here's what I'd say about a pre-purchase inspection. Check the things that you normally wouldn't check. And you're like, oh, that's a cop-out answer. Let me finish. So, of course, you're going to do your normal pre-trip. Most dealerships are going to do a 200-point inspection, something like that. But check the little things like a guy I know bought a truck recently. His right wiper wasn't working. The little arm had come detached. He had some corrosion on some air fittings. They started leaking. He had one of the wires on his inverter was missing. Things like that. Just make sure stuff works. Um, I didn't miss anything on my truck, but after I had it a few days, the starter started acting up. The brakes were out of adjustment, but that wasn't something you could tell on a test drive. After I drove it to Texas and the pads had rubbed against the disc for a few days, it was pretty obvious that the pads weren't making full contact. Rust on a rotor is not necessarily a bad thing. They call that lot rust. When a truck sits on a lot for a while, the rotors will start to rust. And then after you drive it a little bit, that rust will go away if your pads are making contact like they're supposed to. Just don't be in a hurry. That's the deal. Even if you're doing a lease purchase truck, take the time, climb under it, look for oil leaks, things like that. Something the shop, the inspection people might have missed. If you can take a buddy with you, even if it's your wife, have a second set of eyes look at your truck. See if they see something you miss. You're not going to cover every square inch of that truck, and you're going to miss things, and they're going to miss things. But hopefully, between the two of you, you catch a lot of things. I actually had this discussion today with the owner of the company that I'm working for now, and he's bought 2 trucks since he started his company. The first one was a T680. The second one's a Volvo 780, I believe. And I was asking him because we was talking about people buying trucks and having trouble right out of the gate. And I was asking him if he had any trouble or if both trucks were great out of the gate, used trucks now. And he said first 6 months, neither truck really gave him any issue. So one of 2 things is true here, and maybe a little of both. Either he's really, really lucky or he's doing really, really good inspections. And like I said, it's probably a combination of the 2. But when it comes time to buy another truck, it might be worth it to slip him a couple of $100 and say, hey, could you meet me there and help me look this over? Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But if you know, I'm not saying I expect that of him, but I'm saying if you know somebody like that that's mechanically inclined, that knows a lot about trucks, it's good to have a second set of eyes there to look at stuff. Also, if you've got the time, if you've got the money, you can do an oil sample test. That's going to tell you a lot about the engine. Just things like that. Maybe you're at a dealership that they'll do an oil sample test for you. But that's, I hope I answered that question. That's a great question, by the way, Shane. I live in Metro Atlanta, but will you remember? No comment. Man, the Cowboys have a beautiful training field, and that whole area in Frisco is so nice. They have a ton of money. Wish Sean Payton would have taken a couch position there. Yeah, let me tell you the problem with the Cowboys. And I'm sorry for those of you that aren't football fans. The problem with the Cowboys is not Dak Prescott. The problem with the Cowboys is not the offensive line or the defense or the receivers. The problem with the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is a control freak. He's had some of the best coaches in the history of the NFL, but he brings them in and then doesn't let them coach. Jerry Jones wants the spotlight, and his ego is the reason that the Cowboys have not been more successful. Now, I know some of you are going to talk about the 3 Super Bowls with the triplets, Aikman, Irvin, and Smith, and I get it, but they could have had a lot more if they, Bill Parcells, for example, how many Super Bowls could Bill Parcells have given them if Jerry Jones had just stepped back a little, or Jimmy Johnson? And and I've got an uncle that still won't watch the Cowboys because of how they unceremoniously fired Tom Landry. That situation could have been handled better. So I've always said I think the problem with the Cowboys, the real problem, is Jerry Jones, the owner. All right, let's see here. Who dat makes absolutely no sense. It's dangerous here repping any other team. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet. But that's if there's one team I get excited when they lose, it's the Saints. NFL, I really don't have a team anymore. College is so much more competitive. So let me tell you about college ball. I like watching college football, but because it's exciting, it's a lot more mobile, it's a lot more fast paced. The problem with college ball is there's just too many teams and too many games and too many bowl games more successfully. You shouldn't be able to have a 500 season and end up in a bowl game. And they need to have some type of playoff structure where it leads to a Super Bowl something. It's the same problem I've got with baseball, same problem I've got with basketball. There's so many games that none of them matter. And so that's my problem. But I like watching a college game. I used to go to a lot of Texas Tech games, and I hadn't been to one in several years. To piggyback on inspections, check the bunk heater, check the outlets. Yeah, some more great advice. Those things would fall under the category of things that you might not normally check in a pre-trip, but you would check here. My bunk heater, for example, is not working, and I missed it when I was inspecting my truck. I've got under there and looked at it. I think it might be a stopped up fuel filter or a fuse. I'm not sure which. I hadn't worried about it a lot because it's been so freaking hot. But at some point soon, I'm going to have to get under there and figure out what's going on with it. But that's something I can fix myself. I believe. We'll see. Hey, Joe Bananas is here. What's up, peeps? I'm a true Chicago Bears fan, win or lose. I guess I like the Chicago Bears the best when Mike Ditka was there and McMahon was the quarterback. That's a long time ago. Most of you guys probably don't even remember that. The refrigerator, William Perry, the Super Bowl Shuffle. A lot of you don't remember that song. But the Chicago Bears had attitude back then. And yeah, that's a good team too. Don't care for the city, but like the team. So I have not talked about this headset yet in this video. This is the solar powered headset. I've actually got another one that just came in the mail that another company reviewed. This one by far is my favorite headset that I've ever used. And I've actually recorded a part of 2 videos for this headset. Me and the company are still working out the details. What I can say in the videos, what I can't say in the videos, contracts, things like that. I hope next week to be able to put some videos out about the headset. But yeah, It's a great headset. The other part of the contract part we're working out is I don't want to offer it to you at just regular retail price. I want to get you guys a discount, and I'm not talking $5 or $10. What I've suggested to them is that every one of my viewers that gets one of these headsets gets it for a $50 discount. And I've kind of held to my guns on that. Oops, I hope saying that word doesn't get me in trouble with YouTube. So I'm going to want to see a $50 discount if you buy this headset over what they're showing on their website right now. This isn't a discount like where they mark it up $50 and then mark it down $50. I mean a real, you can see it before you, $50 discount. And I think they'll sell a lot of headsets because it's great, man. You cannot kill the battery on this headset. But I just want to get things right to where it's a good deal for you. I would hate it if I released those videos and 100 of you went out and bought these headsets, and then the next week they go, all right, Todd, now we're going to do your $50 discount. And then the first 100 of you are going, well, thanks, Todd, I just got ripped off. So I know it sucks right now waiting for me to get that discount for you guys, but it's really important to me. You guys, you've seen tonight, a bunch of you have donated to the channel. I get dozens of emails every week of support, of thanks, endless phone calls every day. And so now I want to thank you guys back by getting you a discount on a great headset. And I want it to be cheaper than most of the headsets you can get in a truck stop. So yeah, it'll suck. You'll have to wait for it to come in the mail because they're not selling them in stores right now. But when you get it, you know, all right, this is the headset. Todd said it's good. Todd wouldn't lie to me. Here we go. You order it, you know, 4 or 5 days before you're going home, and it'll be at your house when you get there. And that's the deal I'm setting up. All right, let's jump back into a question here. How often should the coolant be changed in my truck? So I would encourage you to check your owner's manual. Different engines, different trucks have different recommendations. Also, truck stops can evaluate your coolant condition, things like that. I've got a PDF on my truck that says what the recommended maintenance intervals are, but I'm real careful about giving out that kind of information in this format because, you know, I'd feel bad if I gave you information for a Cummins and I found out PACCAR or Detroit was different and you ruined your engine because you listened to me. I would just encourage you to, and don't trust Google either. I mean, get something from PACCAR, from Cummins, from Detroit, whatever engine you got, International, and do what they recommend. And that way, if you've got a truck under warranty, you're not voiding your warranty, something like that. But yeah, that's what I would say about that. Sorry that I'm being kind of vague on some of this stuff. I have to be careful what I say on here. My mouth gets me in trouble sometimes, and I'm trying not to add to the trouble. Wow, we're already at the 2-hour mark. You guys really came to life when we started talking about football. I even thought about pulling out that recommended maintenance schedule for the PACCAR and sharing it with you, but that's not good good video for y'all to watch me scroll through hundreds of emails trying to find one that I should have printed a month ago. This is another great question. Thoughts on your PACCAR? Many are afraid of it. There's a distinction here that a lot of people don't know. So there's the PACCAR engines that are out right now, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, are considered Generation 2. PACCAR engines before 2016 and I would even say up to 2016, the way they do your models and stuff, had a lot of problems with the after treatment system. If I had a 2016 or older pack car, I would have a lot of concerns. The Generation 2 that I have now is a great engine. They still don't like to be idled, and that's why it was important to me to have an APU. But none of these new engines like to be idled. And so the short answer to your question is no, I'm not worried about this engine. Um, they vastly improved the PACCAR engine after 2016. By all accounts, everybody I've talked to, is it perfect? No. Do they get a little better every year? Yeah, but I would say that about all of them. Every engine manufacturer right now makes slight improvements on their engines. You go back to 2008, 2000, yeah, right around 2008 mainly, when they first started doing all this stuff, those trucks were junk. Some of you remember the Max Force engines from International. They almost bankrupted JB Hunt. And every year they're making improvements. They're still not where they're going to eventually get, but they're a lot better than they've ever been. And so with the 2020, I feel pretty safe right now. And I've got that 2-year, 250,000 mile warranty if things should go south on it. I'm at a new company. Truck has been in the shop last 2 days. Truck is done. I'm at home. They wanted me to pick a load tomorrow at 5 a.m. I live an hour from the yard, and pick is 1.5 from the yard. Wow. Man, that stinks. Uh, I didn't mean to dismiss your comment. I hope it works out for you. Sorry for the breakdown. Um, tell us a little tell us a little bit more about it. What kind of is? I'm assuming it's that Volvo there. What was wrong with it, and why did it take 2 days to fix it? So I like the PACCAR for some things. For fuel efficiency, yeah, I think it's superior to the Cummins. For power, it's at 455. It's it's a smaller displacement engine, so it doesn't have the power of the Cummins. It can be turned up, my understanding, to 505, and I might consider doing that if I don't take a huge hit in fuel economy. I'd rather take a few extra seconds to go up a hill and make the extra money in fuel economy than I had be the first one up the hill and make less money. But I may consider the 505 at some point. I hadn't decided yet. I said no way would have to wake up at 1 a.m. Yeah, that sucks. And one of the companies I worked for, I don't remember which one it said most accidents occur between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. And so you really don't want to be on the road during those hours unless you absolutely have to be. Yes, I agree with Gary Cook. 2012 and 13 were bad for PACCAR motor, and you have to be able to find somebody to work on it. Yeah, anything 16 and before was pretty bad for PACCAR. And that's another good point Gary makes. There's still a lot of shops that can't work on them, that won't work on them. The same could be said for Volvo. The difference, though, there's a lot more Kenworth and Peterbilt dealers out there than there are Volvo dealers. So you can find dealers to work on it. The bad part about that is a lot of times it's 1 to 2 weeks out before they can even touch it. So I'd like to see these dealers find a way to get trucks in and out a little quicker. And I'm sure they'd like to see that too. It'd be more revenue for them. Tim got his rental and he's back home. He's off to pick up the truck early in the morning. He says he'll be driving from about 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. if I want to call him. I will do my best to call you. I'm going to be delivering at 8 in the morning, and it just depends how long they take and how things are going. But I should be able, and my next pickup's right down the street. I might be able to call you before 10. I'll try my best. But no calls after 10. Are you still available after 10? It's an 18 Cascadia. Was given a 59-second engine shutdown warning, low coolant, but coolant's okay. Ah, I see. Yeah, that sounds like maybe if they replace that coolant level sensor and it's still doing it, then it's probably a wiring issue or something like that. And if that's what it is, it's bad. It can take hours upon hours to diagnose it and find it. Sorry, head was itching. After I wear a hat for a while, head starts itching. If not, I can call you when I'm headed back to the house with the truck. That might be better. Call me when you're in the truck headed back home. That way you can kind of give me some perspective about how you like it, how it drives. I don't know if you want me saying what they did to your truck on here or not, but you can tell me if you feel like it was fixed properly, things like that. Yeah, right. By the way, they said, I guess it's okay to say then, they said it wasn't shifting because they had to change out the clutch fan. So those that aren't mechanically inclined, the clutch fan is on your engine fan, and it controls when the fan engages and disengages to blow air to cool your engine. That should have no bearing, to the best of my knowledge, on if your transmission shifts or not. I liked it better when they said it was the transmission ECU. I could believe that. That makes me think that it was really something simple and they're embarrassed that it took so long to fix it. They forgot to plug a wire in, or a fuse was blown, or something like that. I'm calling BS on that, though, Tim. It is funny, though. Clutch fan, huh? If my transmission ever goes out, that's the first thing I'll check. Your audio sounds great with that mic. That's part of why I'm wearing it when I do these videos, because, I could do a video and say, look at my new headset. It's so nice, blah, blah, blah. But if you hear me talking on it for, 2 hours or however long this video goes, and the battery's holding up and the sound quality is good, then you see it for yourself. If I do a review video, mount my phone on the outside of the truck, and I walk a circle around the truck and never lose connection, then you kind of know what the range is like. And that's why um, I realize on these videos, a lot of times I'm asking you guys to trust me. But like Reagan said, trust but verify. I'm trying to make it where you can verify what I say. And so that's why some of this is taking a little longer than I wanted it to. But it's going to be the headset you want to get. It's just, I want you to save $50 when you get it. Yes, I do know why you're confused. I've never, and I could call my son and ask him, but I've never heard of a fan clutch affecting a transmission shifting. I like it when a mechanic says it's a driver error. Yep, it's always the driver's fault. And that's funny. That's funny. Uh, Tim, I think on your transmission, we might want to adopt the don't ask, don't tell policy, because you might be better off not knowing what they fixed. But I will bet you dollars to donuts that whatever it was something small and easy they probably could have fixed in 30 minutes, and they're embarrassed. So they're just making crap up because they don't want to tell you they forgot to plug something in, or it was a fuse they didn't replace, or something like that. I'll bet you it was something super easy, super simple. And that place you're getting your truck, They sell good trucks. I think you're getting a good one. I really do. Tim's a good friend of mine, and I wouldn't steer him wrong. I wouldn't send him there if I didn't believe what I was saying. So, and this is going to be a funny story for him to tell. In a couple of years, or however long his truck's financed, when he gets it paid off, he's going to sit around and laugh about, uh, oh yeah, that time that the fan clutch kept his truck from shifting. Now I'll tell you something that'd be really funny. Tim wouldn't think it was funny, but I would think it was funny. If 2 weeks from now his fan clutch goes out, I'd tell the dealership, hey, you said you replaced it. I want you to warranty it. That's what they get for saying stuff like that. If they tell me they fixed something and 2 weeks later it goes out, even a couple of months later, I think you'd have a pretty good argument for them putting you another fan clutch on. But, by the way, Tim, what kind of rental car did you get this time? Are you in a little economy car or a hybrid or what? I have a 2018 Freightliner Cascadia, has the EPU, and I love it. It keeps the bunk cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Yeah, I love EPUs too. Only thing I don't like about the 2018 Freightliner, I don't like the sleeper cabinets in there. If you have a flat screen TV, there's not really a great place to mount it, but it's a pretty good truck other than that. Oh, there you go. That's a nice vehicle for a road trip. Still fuel efficient, but a little bit of room in there so you can take your stuff. Of course, since you're going back to the house, you don't really need to take a lot of stuff unless you want to carry some tools or something like that. I carried a bunch of stuff when I went to get my truck. I loaded it down pretty heavy, and my wife was a nervous wreck because she was afraid that we were going to leave all that stuff in the car while we was at the hotel and somebody break into the car. So I carried all my electronics and stuff inside the hotel room and then had to load it back in the car the next morning. But, wow, 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're probably going to wrap it up here pretty quick if you guys don't have anything else. I appreciate y'all being here. I'm not going to do it quite yet. I'm going to put that other link up so you guys can, when you leave here, go check out that other video that I did that came out right before we went live. Check it out. Since you won't be able to leave a comment here, leave a comment on that video. Tell me your thoughts. On Thursday night when we do In Case You Missed It, we can sure talk about it at that time too. It didn't put the link in blue, so I don't think you can click on it, but you can copy and paste it up in your address deal and it'll take you right to the video. Those of you that are subscribed will probably get a notification. And those of you that aren't, you can type Trucker Todd into YouTube and find it that way as well. But I'm trying to wait just a few more minutes. I know some of you type slower than others, and give you all a chance to say whatever's on your mind. Tim says, look what I found. What'd you find, Tim? It didn't show. Oh, it does show in blue on YouTube. So yeah, you can just click on that link on StreamYard. It doesn't show in blue, but I guess on the other social media platforms it does. Looks like UPS has made a deal with the Teamsters, but I think Yellow's in trouble. Yeah, it's I still think somebody's going to save Yellow. I don't think it's the end of the road for them, but I could be wrong. A bad fan clutch can cause a number of transmission problems, as it is a critical component that helps regulate the temperature of the transmission. Maybe it just seems kind of bogus, but maybe. I have You have a Volvo which makes one ride better, your current one or the Volvo? No, I don't have a Volvo now. I have a 2020 T680 Kenworth. Uh, without a doubt, Without a doubt, this Kenworth rides better. It's a longer wheelbase, and the longer the wheelbase is, the more smooth the ride's going to be. Now, it's been several years since I had a Volvo. I had that 2008 that I paid cash for. Um, but before that, I had a 2015 at Roadrunner, and it was a great truck, but it didn't ride nowhere near as nice as Kenworth did. And they were both 670s, so they had the smaller sleepers. And this truck is just freaking comfortable. That's the only way to describe it. I still like a Peterbilt better because of being able to fold the top bunk in half and use it like a shelf. But I've got the swivel seat, I've got the desk, as you can see while I'm sitting here doing the video. And it's just a really, really nice place to be. Found it on a mechanic's site. Well, he definitely knows more about it than I do. That just sounded like a bogus answer, but maybe it's true. If the fan clutch isn't working correctly, the fan may spin too fast or too slow, which cause the transmission to overheat. So my question would be, if it's the fan clutch, why did they misdiagnose it as the ECU? All they had to do is open the hood and they could see that the fan isn't engaging and disengaging like it's supposed to. So it sounds like at the very least they're guilty of a misdiagnosis initially. And let me come back to this. If it was a fan clutch, why did they not have one of those in stock? Why did you have to wait all these days? I don't know. Something about that smells funny. Overheating can cause a transmission to slip. Do you have XM radio in your truck? I have one and listen to 146. Yeah, I've got XM, and I listen to that channel too sometimes. Um, some of the problem with that channel is they've taken on some big corporate sponsorships, and sometimes that influences what they say and do on there. But yeah, I listen sometimes. I like Casey Phillips. I listen to him when I can, unless he's doing something silly like playing games or something. But if he has a good topic or something, I listen. I listen to Landline Now sometimes, things like that when I get the chance. My problem is, you know, I have Audible. I get a lot of audio books, and I'm about 5 or 6 books behind right now because I'll start listening to something or a phone call will come in or something, and I never have 3 or 4 hours a day where I can listen to a book. So same thing with Sirius XM. It's really hard for me to listen to a show. Now I can pause it, but it's just it ends up that I end up not getting stuff listened to like I'd like to, because they went for the most expensive fix. Yep, I agree with you. And the dealership should be mad about that, because there's probably nothing wrong with the ECU that they took out. And what are the odds the ECU and the fan clutch went out at the same time? They need to plug that old ECU back in and see if the problem is still gone. And if it is, then they don't need to charge for that new ECU. Yeah, I bet they did. I'll find out more when I get there tomorrow because I'm getting repair history from them. I'll let you know what was done when I call you tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, the only problem with the repair history, they gave me one too. but it was like a PDF that somebody had just wrote out. It wasn't like actual shop receipts. And so they can conveniently add or omit things if they want to. And so I don't know about that, but I mean, I guess from your standpoint, it's good if they replace the ECU because that's one less thing you'll have to worry about. But I hate to see anybody get screwed over, even a dealership. And I hate to know they paid probably a couple of grand labor and parts for an ECU that you may not have even needed. But hopefully you've got a good truck now that you can go make money with. Oh boy. If I have to, I'll run a truck check and get a report. Yeah, a really good one is called Rig Dig. It's kind of like Carfax, but a new repair like this might take a few weeks to show up on there. And I don't know, you might could go to a Packard dealer and get them to run you one. But Rig Dig on, I mean, it'll tell you a lot about the truck if it's ever been in an accident, things like that. VIN check, yeah, exactly. When you bought your truck, was you able to get prior maintenance records that were done on that Kenworth? So I got the things that the dealership did to the truck. I didn't get maintenance records from Hirschbach, which is where the truck was prior to me getting it. I have thought about reaching out to Hirschbach and seeing if I could get those records. I have the actual truck number of what it was when it was at Hirschbach, so it'd be fairly easy for them to look up and send it to me. I just don't know how willing they'd be able to, or how willing they would be to do that. But it's good information. I'll tell you why. It's the same way I got the dealership to give me that stuff. I said, look, if I drive this truck a month and the alternator goes out, or I have a mechanical failure, whatever it is, and whatever dealership at goes, oh, you need this sensor, and I can look on this report and see 3 weeks ago you replaced that sensor, then I can tell that shop, hey, this sensor was replaced 3 weeks ago. Maybe we need to find out why this sensor's going out. So it just gets you a more comprehensive repair. The more you know about the history of your truck, the more it helps you when you are broke down. That's what I'm thinking. Once I have the paperwork saying it's my truck, I'll run over to the Kenworth dealer they used and get a report. Oh, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. And see what they say. I'll probably go to the one in Lubbock just because I know the guys in there. I won't go to the Kenworth dealer. They suck. But across the street's the Peterbilt dealer. They're good people. I may go in there and give them the VIN number. And who knows, I may can slip somebody a 20 or something and get that report. And if not, I can always do a rig dig. Like I say, that kind of information, it can really help you when it comes time to diagnose your truck, especially if you've got an electrical issue, because you can show that to a mechanic and say, these are the things that's been done recently, and he can kind of look over them briefly and keep going on to other things and figure out what's wrong with your truck. What is Avery's website? But I would like to look. It's Cordell Truck Sales with a K, Kordell Truck Sales. If you Google that, it'll come up. I think it's CordellTruckSales.com, but I'm not 100% sure. I, as you know, I can tell by your comment, I really don't recommend going to the website because it changes so constantly. It's kind of like that Swift website they wanted me to promote that had all the trucks on it. Everybody went on there and said, I want that Dr. Pepper colored Kenworth. And they called Michelle, I want that Dr. Pepper colored Kenworth. And she's like, oh, we hadn't had that truck in 3 months. Well, then everybody blew up and was mad. And it's just, it's better for you to call Avery, say, hey, Trigger Todd was telling me about a deal that's like a lease purchase where I can get a truck from you guys, even with bad credit, and let him say, well, here's what we got available. Let you say, well, here's what I'm looking for. And then he can look on his list and say, well, we got 2 of them coming next week. He can give you the details. He can send you pictures. And it's really a more efficient way to look. Now, that right there is his cell phone number. And I wouldn't call him tonight because he's at home with family. But give him a call tomorrow, uh, and he can work with you. Now Tim will be there too, so if he doesn't answer, leave him a voicemail. He'll call you back, and he'll get you the information. Oh, Tim makes a great point. You want the Cordell truck sales in Dubuque, Iowa. I did not know there was one in Florida. Is it spelled the same and everything, Tim, with a K, or is it with a C? But yeah, it's why, the same thing would happen at Swift. I would tell them to call Michelle. Instead of calling Michelle, they would try to do it online themselves. And then they would fill out a company driver application, and Michelle would never see it. And they'd wait a week, and then they're mad nobody's called them. It, uh, it the reason I'm telling you to go through Avery is because I had a smooth experience, and I want you to have a smooth experience. Now, Tim's experience was a little rocky, but it was still smoother than what you're going to have if you accidentally call the wrong dealership, or if you get the wrong sales guy or something like that. So I'm just trying to help you guys have a good experience. But yeah, you do want the one in Dubuque, Iowa, Cordell Truck Sales. And I promise you're going to be better off if you just avoid the website and call Avery directly. Yeah, it popped up when I first Googled it. Yeah, that's not good. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a second to type, and if it dries up, then I'll get back to work. Anything else y'all want to discuss? It's been a while since I did it, so I'll put up that link for that other video that I did right before the show come out. I'm not doing it necessarily to promote the video as much as, sometimes you'll only get one of the 2 notifications. And I really want everybody to see this video. And it's one of those that I really hope you'll share it. But yep, Tim says good night. So on Tim's word, we're going to go ahead and end this video. You guys have a great night. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for those that contributed to the channel. We'll see you Thursday night at 5 p.m. Central. I know a lot of you are working. If you can make it in, I'd love to visit with you again. And I'll try to get some more recorded videos out as well. We made it to 2.5 hours. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.